We are in New Orleans, Super Bowl 59. Chiefs and Eagles on Sunday, but so much that goes on, of course, Radio Row. Ryan Leaf, former NFL quarterback. We've gotten to know Ryan quite a bit over the years with your story, your journey, and then also talking football. Can you, as a quarterback, even fathom what Patrick Mahomes has accomplished?
I mean, yes, because there's one thing to know how to do it. There's another thing to do it. We as quarterbacks understand what he's doing, and we see it, and it's a matter of the fact that he does it in games, in the highest possible level of games too. So that's the difference in all that. Incredibly impressive, and it makes it real fun as a former quarterback to watch it play out.
With the defense they have, which I think, Mahomes can be like this, like he's the bright lights of the whole thing. But what kind of confidence does a defense have knowing that, look, as long as we keep this thing close, if the offense isn't having their best day, if 5 minutes left and we're within a score, we're okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter either if they give up, 29 like they did last week. They got an offense that when they need to score 32 to win, they'll do it too. So they're just better than everybody else when it comes to game management and time management, end-of-game scenarios, head coach-wise, quarterback-wise. And this defense has been really good. Steve Spagnuolo's done a tremendous job of scheming, different kind of blitzes to confuse quarterbacks and confuse coordinators into setting up, protections that don't work in those instances. So it's just been really impressive. What a great run. I don't see for any reason why it won't continue either.
Ryan, we have had you on many times for you to tell your story about where you were and also what happened to your life, and then waking up in a cell, and then your life turns around. You mentioned us right before we went on the air. You're about to be in D.C. for a national award from the government. What is that? What is it, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's the Newsmaker Award for the coalition around alcohol and drugs and mental health, and my outreach and my advocacy for it, the way we've been helping people over the last decade, and so that's it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and it's pretty. I'm really grateful for it, knowing that we're making a difference. And so these last 10 years have been amazing. As it turned out, my life of my dreams was not necessarily rooted in being a professional football player, but being a flawed human being that tries to be better every single day. And so got two amazing kids and a family, and it's a real blessing what I got to go through.
So you've done a ton of work now as an analyst, college football and the NFL. What are your thoughts on this first year, because we do mostly college football on our show, of the 12-team playoff, of Ryan Day, like finally coaching in some big games with some confidence and not being all tight, and what that meant to that program and how they kind of burst through after that Michigan game? I mean, it felt like it was all over with the shouting.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Peel, blend, and enjoy. Fast and easy, and I'm out the door.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if it was, the realignment and how they screwed Washington State, my alma mater, and everything like that.
Yep.
But I didn't watch a lick of college football this year.
Really?
Yeah. I called the CW games, which were the Pac-12 games, so I called Washington State and Oregon State games, so I paid attention to those. I had two college games that I called, Michigan, Oregon, and Alabama, Georgia. Those were good games, but I didn't watch one lick of the college football playoff. I knew that Ohio State won just because, my periphery. But, yeah, FCS was my college football this year. I called the national championship game, so I was locked in on the FCS, and I just, not a big fan of the product anymore, and I don't know if that's a bias or not, but didn't watch a lick of it.
Look, from your perspective as an alum of Wazoo and like what happened, I mean, like I think you're pretty justified in those feelings.
And I don't know if it's necessarily. I just don't like the product. I don't like the I don't like the fact that they're free agents and mercenaries every year. Washington State had probably the best quarterback in all of football this year in John Mateer, and he'll be at Oklahoma next year because we can't afford to pay him, millions of dollars. And so, I'm not the old guy saying get off my lawn. I just liked when a guy came to school at 18 and he left as an alumnus when he was 22 or 23, and I know that's not the world that we live in anymore. But I just didn't think the product was very good. I didn't think the games were very good.
Can you try to explain the value, and it's like free agency without even any kind of windows, but the value of being on a team and marinating with the team, guys going from a freshman to a sophomore, doesn't play much to a junior, and that experience of how that helps bond a team too?
Oh, it does so much, and so much for you as a person to go through struggles and adversity and overcome it. That just doesn't. What we're teaching this generation too, if things are tough or you boo-hoo for you just get up and leave. Listen, the transfer portal is much more full of players that will never be on scholarship again than there are those that actually go on to have successful careers. Like those are the exceptions. The rule is you go into the portal, it's like a black hole. You disappear. You never play again. That's what it is. And because we have become a generation of individuals that we just go, not good enough. You don't like me. This is too hard. I quit. I'll find something better. And that's just not the way to live. And that's not the way you should live. I do understand it, and I'm always going to advocate for players knowing that, you may never play NFL football. This may be the last chance you ever get to play college football. And if you want to transfer to go get an opportunity to do that, by all means. But also know overcoming things and having to deal with difficult times is what makes you stronger.
Well, outside of the 1% to 2% that are getting generational money, you're going to get money anywhere you go. So you might as well be in a place that's going to make you better in every aspect of life, because you could be one of these guys that's like a 4-star guy that's a journeyman that every year doesn't like the place he goes, but there's some coach that's going to fix him, right? Well, no, you'll probably be fixed if you just stay with the coach that you liked in the beginning. And,
Yeah, but there's so many there's so many that are in that portal that no one's going to take to give you any kind of money.
Yeah.
Because you're not a 4-star.
Yeah.
Most guys aren't 3, 4, 5-star kids. Most of them are 1 or 2-star guys that enter the portal. FCS guys and things like that. So it's just a tough feel of it. The NCAA had a chance to rectify it. They got beat in the court case, and they just threw them to the wolves.
Well, and look, you can probably speak to this as a guy who's an NFL free agent several times. Free agency is not necessarily fun every time. It's a drag. Even though at the end of that rainbow is going to be a salary and you're going to have a job, but you don't know where you're going to live. You don't know, you may want to go play for a coach. That opportunity may dry up because they signed somebody else. Like, it's not fun being a free agent, like in any sport. I've never talked to one athlete that's like, oh, this was great. I love free agency.
Well, I mean, if you're at the top of the market, you're going to love it because everybody wants you and they're willing to pay you top dollar to come there, So, like this year, the number one quarterback in the portal was, the kid from Washington State, John Mateer. He was the number one sought after, and he made a decision, right? I mean, he could have gotten more money with the University of Miami. I know they were offering him more money, and he took less money to go to Oklahoma, where his offensive coordinator, who was at Washington State, went as well. So he's got some continuity, and you can never begrudge somebody for doing that because, the chances of making the NFL is slim to none. And you have a chance to make life-changing money and play college football to boot at a blue blood school, and that's just tremendous.
Everyone knows the story about the draft, Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf, and back and forth on that. Have you and Peyton talked very often about that memory and also your life and his life and how things worked out?
Usually when we talk, we don't talk about much of that. We talk about our kids. Ironically enough, outside the compartmentalized, NFL careers, we're both 48-year-old men. We both own production companies. We're both philanthropists. We're both fathers of a boy and a girl, and so we're exactly the same place, So it's that's the kind of things we talk about.
Production company, philanthropist, that when you get up off the floor to change your life, which is an everyday process, could you ever have imagined all this happening?
Hell no. You kidding me? If you just said this was possible 10 years ago when I walked out of prison, I would have said you're nuts. and lock you up for being crazy. So no, I mean, this has been a dream. I've gotten everything I was promised, and I haven't done it on my own. I've been carried.
We talked about the Chiefs earlier. I want to get your thoughts on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts kind of like went through it a little bit when it came to like negativity and people saying like, oh, well, he's not this or he's not that. But he is one of the toughest SOBs that's playing right now. He is such unique talent. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's special. Leader. It's not his fault they go out and grab a running back that goes for 2,000 yards this year. There's going to be something that changes, and there's something that different through that process. And now all of a sudden everybody says he sucks and he can't throw. Are you kidding me? Saquon Barkley can run for 200 yards plus in the Super Bowl on Sunday, and they can still lose. If Jalen Hurts goes out and plays like he did against the Washington Commanders, and he's on time, and he's in rhythm, and he's accurate like he was down the field, ain't nobody beating the Eagles team if that's the case. So this game all comes down to the right arm and mind of Jalen Hurts, and I'm excited for him to get another experience, another opportunity that because he played probably the best game of his career last 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. Outside of that lone fumble, that ultimately was the costly factor in it all.
Ryan, you brought up a lot of things in what you're about to be. Your life more fulfilled now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just in the end, it's ended up being a great story about you and everything about you.
I don't know if it's great. I mean, it's life.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's more real than anything else.
Yeah, it's life. I mean, mine was just very public, and so people know about it. There's so many of us that are going through what I went through. They're just doing it in the shadows. And so it's my job to shine a light on it so they can be seen and they can be heard and their life can be fulfilled.
Proud of you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Ryan. Ryan Leaf with us. Congratulations on DC and that national award. Ryan Leaf with us, live in New Orleans on 365 Sports.